Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and oh my goodness, I am so excited to show you how to make these little canvas bird tassel thingy-mabobs. I'm going to show you everything that's involved. This is one that I've just made, and here's another that I have just made, and there are a million options for what you could do. So as you were hopping on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Feel free to sprinkle, all that good stuff. And this is what our project is going to be. Okay, so first thing involved in this project is good old canvas dyke. I craft with this stuff all the time. Oh my goodness. I'm just looking right here, just barely off to my side. I'm just looking at my stuffies. These are big stuffy door hangers, but I craft with canvas dyke all the time. You can get it at any fabric store. You can get it at Walmart in their fabric department if you can find somebody to actually come in there and cut it for you. And the heavier the weight, the stiffer it is, the better, because that is what you want. Also, I'm going to be using some red and cream colored ticking. We're going to be using a variety of different wood beads. We're going to be using some fabric that I have made using some of our stencils, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Here is a piece of canvas duck that I stenciled with the Victorian pattern stencil and some red ink, my favorite stencil. Here is a piece that I stenciled, and I did these last year as far as I can remember, or maybe before Christmas. These ones last year for sure. This is that repeating love pattern. Here is the all over hearts. So I just tuck them away, and then when I'm ready to pull them out, they're all ready to go. Here's one done in silver and gold ink, and here's one done in silver and copper ink. So you can make your own custom fabric according to what you're looking for, what you want, and we'll do that in just a second. We're also going to be using a mystery supply. And if you watched this DiyDreaming like a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years ago, you would probably recognize this because I used them a lot, and then I don't know what happened. I forgot they existed, and I just pulled them back out. And so these are flossers, you guys. When I had somebody send me some flossers. They weren't in a package like this to use to help threading beads and things. And I thought initially that this was a crafting supply. So I was looking for it all over in different fabric stores. Turns out these are flossers for your teeth. And they're great to have. Okay, then we're going to be using my awesome tassel maker. We're going to be using some yarn. We're going to be using some ink. We're doing red today. And this sweet little thing, $3 item from Dollar Tree Plus, was kind of the inspiration for this project. And when I showed this to you the other day, I told you that my plan was to take this apart and use these kind of as a pattern. Isn't it cute? I probably wouldn't put this up in my own house, but I could definitely use it for a pattern, and I like how it has a piece of a branch at the bottom, all that good stuff. Okay, so the love piece of fabric that I just showed you has this one. The repeating hearts has this one. And generally what I do is I will stencil a big piece of fabric and then I will cut it into smaller pieces. But today, let me toss these over here. Today we're going to just work on something small. Okay. I looked on Pinterest for bird drawings, and this is what I came up with. I did enlarge it on my photocopy machine. I don't feel like I can share this because this does not belong to me. But you can just hop over on Pinterest and type in bird outline or bird drawings, and you'll see that there's a lot of different styles of these little birds. And then just print it. You could do the same thing on Google. So I'm not going to share this pattern because I don't feel like that. I don't know who came up with this originally, and I don't feel like that would be the right thing to do. But you can find it easy, or you can just sketch it yourself. This is what mine looks like. And this is what my wing little part looks like, but I'm going to show you hearts. Okay, so before I came live, I worked on these other two birds, and then I cut out, using some pins and my little pattern, some pieces of canvas duck. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we're just going to stencil this piece of canvas duck. And I'm just putting this underneath it just so I can quickly throw away my mess. This is Crafter's Tear Off palettes from Dollar Tree. These are kind of handy. Okay, so I'm going to lay that underneath here. And then, this is a new stencil that just came out. It's called Mini Pattern Arabesque or something like that. This is the arabesque and this is the chevron. And I've already done a bird with this. I'll show you that in just a minute. So we're going to use the chevron. And I've labeled the back of it with a Sharpie marker. I'm not going to fuzz this, even though it's brand spanking new, because I'm stenciling on fabric. And so it wouldn't make a lot of sense to fuzz it on fabric. However, if you were using it on something different, you could fuzz it on a t-shirt, a pair of jeans. Magnolia actually has a fuzzing towel. Okay, let me decide. This little bird is going to have a weird chevron pattern because I want his whole thing covered up. These are really cool. I am excited that they started doing these mini pattern stencils. Okay, so I have just laid it over the top of my little cutout piece of bird, and this is the arabesque. I'm going to show you guys the whole thing, how to assemble it, how to do the beads. We're going to make tassels. So those of you that have been asking me how this thing works, I'm going to show you. It's easy. You can use it with strips of fabric. You can also use it with yarn, with jute, with absolutely whatever you would like to use. Okay, and I'm just using this red ink. I need to get a new jar, and I'm just going to put some blobs on here. I'm using my small little cut apart squeegee, and I'm going to quickly push the ink through the holes on the stencil. Of course, I have way too much. I'll put that back in my pot. No sense wasting that. And I'll show you why I'm using this little painter's palette, because it's hard to see where your fabric is, and I didn't want to get ink all over everything. Okay, I think I've got it. I'm going to throw this in my tub over here. Same with this. My lid back on my ink. So what do you guys think so far? Okay, Carolyn Riley Smith says there's templates in the Spring Quilters World magazine. You can find templates everywhere. Seriously, just Google it or just put it in the search bar at Pinterest. This is why I did that, because I didn't want that to get all over my desk. And now I'm just going to try to find a spot that I can pull this up without messing up my print. I'm going to throw this in my little tub of water over here, face down. especially with ink. You don't want it to sit on your stencil too long because it's a little bit harder to get off. But here is my little chevron bird. Oops, it just fell. He's okay. He or she are okay. All right, so that is what that looks like. Let's set it aside. And is this new? Did I get ink on my mat that I wasn't even aware of? Probably. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to assemble this one that I stenciled earlier. And I have a back piece for it. Okay, and you need to think about two things when you're getting ready to start your bird. Number one, what kind of a hanger do you want at the top? This one just has 3 beads and then it has a loop. So you could hang it over, you know, a little cabinet like this kind of thing. You could hang it in the kitchen, you can hang it on a nail, that kind of thing. Do you want that kind of a top? Or do you want a top like this, which is, let me count how many. 1, 2, 3. It's 15 small beads. I don't know what the diameter is. And then 3 beads down below. So you gotta kind of decide what you want. And I am using this yarn today, which I'm pretty sure, I've had it for a long time. I'm pretty sure this is a Walmart brand. It's kind of an off-white color. And what have I got going on over here? Okay, and so I'm going to take the top of my bird off. And I'm going to leave sufficient string at the bottom and at the top. And I'm just going to put a line of glue. I'm using my low temperature hot gluing device. Just going to put a line of glue and roll my piece of yarn into it. Give it just a second to dry. So I've got plenty at the bottom and plenty at the top. We could, I probably will show you how to make a tassel out of this, but I have another idea for this little birdie. Okay, so that's probably mostly dry. And what you're gonna do next is you are going to start gluing your bird. And I decided to leave the chest part of the bird, that part open, so that that is where I could stuff it. I'm just kind of going along the outline of my little bird. Oh my gosh, I love this mini arabesque pattern. It is so cute, and I love it in red ink on this cream colored canvas deck. It's awesome. Okay, so got most of his head. I'm going to get a little bit more right here, and I'll leave that open. Let's go to our little birdie's tail. We're going to stuff the whole thing. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And I don't know if there's a specific place that you should put your string or whatever you're using. I just kind of go smack dab down the center. Okay, and I can come back and trim off the spots where either it's fraying or it, I didn't layer the two pieces really well. Okay, so we have a couple of choices for wings. One thing we could do is this. These are some little wings that I cut out from Canvas Duck. Not Canvas Duck, from Red Ticking. So that's one option, and I would put one on both sides. Or, since it's almost Valentine's Day, I cut out some hearts. We could do something like that. That looks cute, and I would put one on both sides. Or we could do something a little bit bigger heart, and I cut this one out of my piece of fabric here that I did with the Victorian pattern. I think I'm going to use this one. And I'm just really going to put a blob of glue in the center, and then I'm leaving the rest of it not attached. So I will come back and do something cute on this side. Let's do it right now. Actually, let's just use this little red heart right here. And this little heart kind of looks like wings. Okay. Alrighty. So, if you just stepped in, we're making these. I'm calling them canvas bird tassels. Stuffed canvas bird tassels. Here's one, and here's another. This one I made with my felt balls, and it is a struggle. So I'm not making any more with felt balls at this point. It's too hard to get your needle or whatever it is through the actual felt ball. So this is what we're doing. And okay, so then the next thing is to stuff our little birdie. And I'm just pulling out my pillow because when I went to purchase some more stuffing at my local Walmart, which is like 1 mile away, they didn't have any, so I got a firm pillow and I'm just kind of pulling out of that, and it's just fine. So here's the front of our little bird's chest that is open. I'm going to work on the tail first because that's the hardest part to get. And I'm just using the end of a paintbrush to force this fluff. Okay, so his tail is stuffed. Oh, thank you, Kimberly Lawson says these are adorable. I think so too. Well, okay, so there's a couple things I love about this project. I love stuffies. I make them all the time. That's kind of my signature thing. Also, I love working with canvas duck, and I love making my own custom fabric using stencils and ink and canvas duck. So this just hits all of my things that I like, and it costs hardly anything. A piece of string, some fabric, some stuffing. I mean, these are practically free. Okay, so you can fill your little birdie as full or not as you want. I'm going to just say that that's good. Then I'm going to kind of poke this stuffing inside long enough that I can put a bead of glue around the front of this little bird's chest and pinch it closed. This is the time when you could get a glue burn, so I think it's so important to use a low temperature glue. Okay, so here's one side and here's the other side. All right, you may be wondering, what in the world would she use these for? These are great threaders. So let's do the top, and then we'll come back and make our tassel. And then I'll show you how to make, I'm going to show you how to make a tassel with strips of fabric, and then I'm going to show you how to make a tassel with yarn. Okay, so this is a flosser, and they are not located in the crafting department. They are located with toothbrushes and that kind of thing. I'm going to get some beads. Most of the beads that I am working with these days came off of garlands from Walmart that I have just been cutting up and using, so they were super affordable. But you can even get these kind of wood beads about the same size at Dollar Tree. They have white, I've seen white at Dollar Tree, I've seen dark brown, and I've seen this kind of natural color. That should be enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we're on the top, yes. Okay, I'm going to take my little flosser and I'm just threading my yarn through it. And then it's like you have a soft needle, and I know it's going to be hard to see. Okay, and then you're just gonna, oops, you're not gonna push all your beads off your table onto the floor. You're gonna start threading them. This stuff makes it so much easier to get almost anything through the holes on wood beads. So you can see how easy this is. Okay, this bead right here has a flat side. So I'm going to use a different one. You could use glass beads if they have big enough holes. If you have a special kind of a needle that you can get yarn into, if that's what you used, that will go through the felt balls, you could do that. Oh, thank you. Cindy Gray says this looks amazing. Okay, so the inspiration, in case you just jumped on, is this little $3 thing that I got at Dollar Tree earlier this week. And that started me thinking about doing a little bird tassel. And then I started playing around, and oh my gosh, these are so cute. And I will take some pictures in my house of different places you could put it so that you can see what you might do with one of these. Because a lot of times people will say, okay, that's cute, but what do you do with it? It's a knick-knack. That's what I do. I make a lot of knick-knacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, there's 16 beads on there. That works just fine. Now I'm going to attempt to do a little knot, and then we're going to thread this string back up through the beads. This is the only tricky part. Okay. Put this back on here. I'm just going to thread it up a couple beads and then cut it off. One, two, and I'm sure there's other ways to make this loop. So if you have a better way, go for it. This is just what I have done. Then I'm going to cut it off. Okay, so for this particular little birdie that has one heart wing like this, and it has one heart wing like this. Usually I would do them both the same, both sides the same, like this one. It has both sides the same, but I just felt like mixing it up. Okay, I'm going to use my little gadget. Oh, thank you for all those hearts, Sharon. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to use my little gadget here, and let's see how many times I can get around it with these strips. Okay, perfect. 2. And these were just torn, which, I don't know, does anybody need me to show you how to tear canvas duck? Probably not, but I will if you want me to. And you would just make this as fat or as trim as you like, whatever appeals to you. So I'm just wrapping this around this end, okay? And then I'm going to scooch it slightly down, and I'm going to use this excess piece of yarn to tie the top before we attach it to our bird. So this little gap here, right here, is where you can just slide in a piece of whatever you're planning to tie the top with. You're going to scooch it way up to the top, I'll show you in just a second, and tie a knot. Okay, and you could put the ribbon or whatever you want around the tummy right now, but I'm going to wait on that a moment. So now I'm going to do my top knot a little bit tighter because it's hard to get it really tight when you're on that little tassel maker tool. And it's important that it be really, really tight. Okay, and this is what we have right now. It's not pretty, so I'm going to just start snipping the ends, one or two at a time. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with this idea. So I hope lots of you guys will be making these little canvas bird tassels. Okay, this is what my little tassel is looking like. Let's give it a haircut. I can go back and clean that more. Okay, and then I want to put something around the tummy of it. Just looking. Is that going to be too busy? I think it is. Let me just show you real quick how to tear canvas duck. And I'm going to get a little strip that we'll glue around this tassel for the belly. So all you're going to do is start cutting a little snip, and then you snip. And that's it. I mean, it's oddly satisfying. Tell me in the comments if you kind of like tearing canvas or any other kind of cotton type of fabric. Or am I just the only weird one? Okay, so now I am just going to use a little bit more yarn to tie my belly good. And then we'll glue this on, and then I think we'll probably trim this one more time. This is what makes it really look like a tassel. So it's a tassel made out of strips of fabric. Okay. Let's cut these short. And I am going to, I see another one I should have included, but oh well, it didn't happen. I guess I wasn't paying attention or something, I don't know what. Okay, so then I'm just going to put some glue here, and I'm going to glue my strip tight around the tummy. You can go around and around as many times as you want. I think we'll end at the end of this. Cut off right there. Okay, and I can play with that later, but what do you think? It's pretty cute. I love this idea. This is exactly what I did with this one. This is just torn strips of this red and cream colored ticking fabric. Okay, so now what we need to do is decide, do we want a bead or two and then our tassel? I think we do. So let me get my tooth flosser out again. We're going to finish this one up, and then I'm going to show you how to make a tassel using yarn on the tassel maker. Because I've had several people tell me that they cannot figure it out, and it just takes a little bit of practice, but it's not brain surgery. Okay, I have 3, and I'm just doing the same size as what we did up above. So here's our little birdie, all ready for Valentine's Day. And here's our tassel. And I am basically just going to tie a knot between these 2 pieces, and then I'm going to force my excess yarn up through the holes of the beads. And there might be a better way to do this. I don't know. Maybe you don't glue the bird until you have this part all finished. I don't know. Anyways. Of it. And I think it's feeling pretty tight, so it's not going to want to take these other 2 pieces. I'm just going to tie them one more time and cut them off. So I will trim my little birdie up. What do you guys think? Is this so cute or what? Oh my goodness. I think it's so cute. And it's so simple and so easy and so affordable. And once you make some fabric using stencils and canvas deck, you just use what you need for that project and you tuck the rest of it away until you want to pull it out again. A lot of this red stuff you can use for Valentine's Day, you could use for Christmas. There are lots of options. Okay, let me get my little area right here somewhat cleaned off, and I'll show you the tassel maker tool. And then, as usual, I will get photos. I'll put those here in these comments, as well as just on my page, DiyDreaming. And if you want links to any of the products I used today, or to this tassel maker tool, or you want any more information, just ask. Okay, where am I starting? Okay, so I'm just going to throw this on the floor. And I have a knot here, so let's cut that off. Okay, so I'm going to do a big one, which is going to be 4.5 inches, and you can see that it says 4.5 there, it says 3.5 here, and it says 2.5 here. So if you wanted a smaller tassel, you would just start wrapping around this shorter part. Does that make sense? Oops. Or medium or large. And we're going to do a larger one. And usually with something like yarn, I'm just going to hold it like this, I will go around 50 times. So let me count and do that. 30. 40. 50. Okay, this has been wrapped 50 times. And however chunky you want your tassel is going to depend. You could probably do 60 if you wanted. I mean, really, you could do whatever you wanted. Okay, so I have a piece of this yarn, and I'm going to scooch this over just a teeny bit so I can get into the inside of it using this little hole right here. Okay, and I'm just going to run it through the inside of one side of these wraps, and then we're going to kind of jimmy it up to the top. Okay, where are you? There it is. So I'm just working it up to the very top, and then I'm going to tie a knot, but I am going to realize that I will probably want to do another knot when I'm finished so that I can have the chance to tighten it. Because of the fact that it's on this, it won't be as tight as what I would want it to be. Let me just tie a knot. And then to do the tummy, we are just going to go through one side all the way around to the other, and then we'll scooch it off, and I will finish wrapping that. So I'm just going to take it through one end. And this is hard to explain, but once you do one tassel, you'll be like, oh my gosh, why was I thinking that would be so hard? You can decide how high up or not, whoops, I missed one, you want your tummy to be. If you want it low or you want it high. I'm just going to go with kind of higher. And I'm pulling my threads here, or my yarn here, tight. And this is the same deal. I'm going to tie one knot, and then I'm going to scooch the whole thing off, and then we will wrap. So this little gadget here, I don't remember how much it is, but it's totally worth it. I've been making tassels like a crazy woman. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of scooch, 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 scooch it off. And here's the start of my tassel. And let's do the top first. I want to go through the center one more time with my yarn. Am I pulling the wrong thing? The wrong string? I think I am. Okay, let's try again. Yes, I definitely was. So, just go through this top one more time, try to do that, and so I can tighten up that little knot on the very tip top of the tassel. Okay. All these pieces down long that I have messed up. And then I'm going to tie a tighter knot, and I'm going to cut off all these pieces that I messed up. Or we could try to pull them back down and re-wrap over the top of them. Let's do that. Okay, so here's my long piece. And you're going to wrap one direction, and then with the other one you're going to wrap the other direction. Okay, so if you hold your tassel like this, it is easier to wrap. And then make sure I'm going the correct direction. And I'm going to tie a little knot. I swear this is easier than I'm making it look. It's just hard to explain. Okay, so here's our tassel. And I'm going to cut this little piece here off. I'm not going to use so much yarn. I'm going to keep this right here because you could bead it or whatever you want. And let's snip our loops. And then we can give it a haircut. Okay, I think I got most of them. Nope, I see another. Okay, and then I'm just going to hold my tassel like this and being careful not to cut my fingers. I'm going to give this a little trim. And there you go. There is a tassel. So this was 50 wraps around my tassel maker with this yarn that I showed you just a minute ago. And you could bead it. Now you could do 100 different things with it. So what did you guys think? Oh my goodness, thank you so much to everyone who did stars. I really appreciate that. Let me clean off my table here real quick and I'll show you our finished pieces. Okay, here's one. Here is another. And these are both tassels made with fabric. And then here's the first one that I made where I was using yarn, chunkier yarn, but I was using the felt balls and that was super hard. So, using contrasting yarn would help more visually. You know what, that is such a good idea. Next time I show you the tassel maker tool, I will do that for sure. Because I think that would be easier to understand what's happening. Although it is not brain surgery for sure to use it. So what do you guys think? Aren't they cute? Can you see the whole thing? I will get pictures. Brenda says she loves the tassel maker tool and she's always trying to find a hunk of cardboard. Okay, well, I have a little tickle in my throat, so I'm going to quick say goodbye. But thank you. Hang on. Whew. I'm so sorry about that. Excuse me. I will see you again very soon. Have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day.